in the book, she's like a domestic terrorist. But
That's
I think they're not going to do
funny.
that in
Yeah.
What?
the.
Come on,
They're not
man.
going to do that in the
From
Tear
the
it up
movie.
a little
yellow
bit.
brick
I
road
think
to
that
the sea.
I wouldn't mind the Wicked stuff. It's fresh on my mind because I went and saw the movie last night again,
How many times have you seen it?
like 4 times.
Really? It's that good?
Oh, I've been a fan of Wicked for such a long time. Like my bottom shelf down here has all of my like Wicked stuff from
Oh,
like the
can you make
Broadway
her big?
show.
So can we see that? I'm gonna bring up the story.
Oh yeah, hold on, I gotta move. I have to take my camera down because it's all on the bottom.
So you went to the Broadway play.
Yeah, yeah, I've had like a couple of playbills, the Broadway Grimmery. I read the books, so those are the original books.
Uh-huh.
And like some of my playbills are signed. I have like the CD back there that's signed. But yeah, I don't even know if you can hear me because I moved my mic.
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay, but yeah, and then I have a few things from like the new movie that came out. But yeah, like my whole bottom shelf is Wicked.
Love it.
Nice.
Mhm.
It's Wicked. Okay, so Wicked 2, everything we know about Wicked for good. So there's a name change. What's happening here? Let's bring this
Uh,
up.
yeah, it was originally just Wicked Parts 1 and 2. A lot of people didn't even know that it was going to be in 2 parts.
Mhm.
Um, but it's basically act 1 and act 2 of the Broadway show. So, act 1 was part 1 of Wicked, and then it was supposed to be Wicked part 2, but they changed it Wicked for Good. The reason they changed it to For Good is because that's the penultimate
An
Penultimate.
ultimate.
yeah,
And I did that.
song of the play. That is
Uh-huh.
the final one of the final songs of the play, and it's probably the most emotional song of Act
Oh,
2 and the most
okay.
popular song of Act 2. Um, so that's probably why they changed it. Personally, I don't like that they changed it. It should have just been part 1 and part 2 because it makes no sense
Uh-huh.
for it to be part 1 without like the next one being part 2, but so like and especially since they wanted to separate it between acts.
Hmm.
So I personally don't like the change. Um, but I mean, I think that some people might. Personally, I don't. I think it should have just been part 1 and part 2.
Let me read a little bit here. What does this say here? Wicked just came out. Fans are really counting down the days until the next part of the story hits the big screen. What we already know, Wicked for Good, like you said, it's one of the final songs of the musical. When will it be released? November 21st next year,
Mhm.
part 2. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I love that. They filmed it, all together, so
Hmm.
releasing it back to back like that is very smart. I know that a lot of people are really upset, about, like, the Spider-Man the Miles Morales movies 'cause it was already supposed to be released and it's been delayed. It was supposed to be, like, back to back, kind of like Wicked, and those people aren't getting their movie because it's been delayed so many times. I really like it's very smart of them to film it all together
Hmm.
and then release it 1 year apart, so you, maintain that hype.
Hmm. I
However,
yeah.
I will
Right.
say that there have been some changes to Act 2 from what I've been reading, in a bunch of articles. There's one specific part that has to deal with Elphaba, who is the Wicked Witch, her sister. It's a major part in the movie, or I'm sorry, in the play,
Huh.
and, they talk about how they're changing it, um,
The
to
best way
be
to
to be a little bit more, I guess, I don't know the right word to use, but to be a little bit more
Cohesive or something like that.
no, not cohesive. It's so what happens in act 2 is Elphaba's sister is in a wheelchair and she casts a spell on the like her slippers, on her sister's slippers so that she can walk. So her sister is in a wheelchair, she's not able to walk and she's supposed to be able to walk. But what Wicked did is hired the very first accurate, like, handy capable actress.
Oh yeah, that
Mm.
actress. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
she can't walk, and I was
Ooh.
wondering, like, what are they going to do? Because she's supposed to
Right.
be able to walk, which is why, like, on Broadway, they hire an actress that can walk because she's supposed to walk.
Yeah, because we are talking about fantasy. We're talking about a make believe
Yeah,
story.
yeah, and the actress
Magical
who
things happen.
exactly, and the actress who they hired for it has been talking about and going to all of these press conferences saying, "I am the very first, uh,
Right.
Ugh, that's
accurate."
right.
Yeah, I'm the very first accurate Nessa Rose because Nessa
Mhm.
Rose is in a wheelchair. I'm the very first accurate Nessa Rose. And my whole thing since I saw that was how are they gonna get her to walk? Um, and they have to be
Mhm.
sensitive to that community because, she's very big on, like, you're not allowed.
Inclusivity, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, if you're gonna be talking about how, you're the very first handy capable actress, it's gonna be a little bit insensitive, for all of the people that look up to you to see you automatically, like, walking with a little bit of movie magic. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why it makes sense in the play that they don't hire a handy capable actress because she needs to walk. But they said that they're going to do it to where it's sensitive. It's like not insensitive to the handy capable community. So I'm like, "Okay, what does that mean? Are they
Mm.
gonna have, like, her wheelchair float or, like, um"
It's gonna be a change from the
it's
original, no
going to
matter
be a
what.
change. It's
No
going to
matter
be
what.
a change, yeah.
Right.
And
And then they added 2 more songs that
oh,
are
oh,
original
okay.
songs. They extended because Act 2 is very short. It's shorter than Act 1. Um,
As acts usually are with musicals, yeah.
yeah, and
That's good.
it's the weaker act too.
Oh, is it?
It's not a very strong act. Yeah, things go by. They fly by so quickly in act 2. It's pretty much like you're seated for act 2, and then it feels like 10 minutes have gone by and the play's over, but in reality, it's not. But, I mean, it's a lot shorter, so they extended it. So they're going to add a lot more, um, and they're going to change it a little bit. So I don't know how people are going to feel about that. We'll see.
How do you feel about it? I mean,
I
you're
don't
a
like that
huge
they're going to
fan.
be
You're a real fan.
yeah. I don't know. I don't like that they're going to change Nessa, because that's such a huge part.
Mhm.
Um, and adding new songs is fun, but it just depends on what they are.
Right.
It depends
I
on
mean,
what they are, and I feel like if they're adding new songs because they're going to add new scenes, um, so I don't know. I think that
well,
it's
I'm
it
I'm
could be a hit and it could be a miss.
I'm sure it's gonna be a massive hit.
Mhm.
I think it's brilliant what 2 things, right? The first part is that I think this is brilliant as far as splitting it up into 2 parts.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause, like you said, they filmed it all at once, so you had a big cost for it, and, it looks like they're gonna cover costs with this first movie. And now what they're gonna be reaching towards 1 billion. And then next year comes out, you pay for some more marketing, but they're gonna easily make, probably 1.5 billion when all is said and done
Mhm.
with
Right.
both
Between 2
films.
movies, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whoever thought of that, boom,
Oh, yeah, it is brilliant, for sure.
you
Between
know,
the 2 movies, it's sure to go past 1,000,000,000.
right,
Um, I
right.
I
So,
I think that they're going to add a little bit more with Dorothy and the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin
Mhm.
ooh,
Man. I that's my guess because in the musical,
mm,
they're background characters. You don't even see them. Like,
sure.
you only see the lion's tail, and
Oh
you
yeah,
see the yeah, you
cool.
see the Tin Man because
Yeah.
one of the characters becomes the Tin Man, and you see the Scarecrow because one of the characters in the musical becomes the Scarecrow. You don't see Dorothy at all. You just see, like, this silhouette of Dorothy.
Right.
Um, so I think they're gonna bring that, to
From
the
the book,
screen.
right?
Yeah. I
Because
think they're
this
gonna
that's
bring that
part in
in.
the they're more they showcase them more in the book, right, Steph?
They do. There's a lot more in the book. The book is, it's extremely raunchy. Um, and I think they might actually show a little bit of Elphaba sort of doing vigilante not vigilante things. She's in the book, she's like a domestic terrorist. But I think they're not gonna
That's
do
funny.
that in
Yeah.
What?
the
Come on,
they're not
man.
gonna do that in the
From
Tear
the
it
movie.
up a little
yellow
bit.
brick
I
road
think
to
that
the sea?
Oh
they're
my
going
god,
to
you did
do
not.
show a little bit more of, like, Elphaba possibly doing things behind the scenes. So, Yeah, they might pull here's the thing.
Mhm.
I I think it's really cool that everybody's talking about The Wizard of Oz, right? Because The
Mm.
Wizard of Oz inspired Wicked, but it's not a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It's just a retelling. It used to be labeled as fan fiction. It was the most popular fan fiction because it's just inspired by it. Um, and when the fact that they're always bringing up the L. Frank Baum books, it kind of it's like, I don't like that because Wicked
Mhm.
is its own thing. It's has its own author, and it has its own books that it's like it has its own books that come after this initial book that the musical is based off of. Um, and I think that like with they're going to be bringing in all of these characters, and I think that they're going to make even more references to the Wizard of Oz. That I don't know. I feel like it's a little unsettling to me. It doesn't sit right with me because they are two separate entities.
Right,
This
right.
is just inspired by The Wizard of
But
Oz.
for the general audience, man, like someone like me, I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's kind of cool because that's who I grew up with, those
Right,
characters.
yeah.
But
And I
you
think they're
know,
gonna yeah, the fact that I think they're gonna bring more I think that in this second half, they might possibly, um, do The Wizard of Oz. Like,
What?
bring in The Wizard of Oz. I think that they might possibly meld the 2 together, and that I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean,
Because they're adding so much more to it, I don't know how I feel about
I
that.
get it. I get it because it's, one of the greatest films of all time, 1939, one of the greatest years for cinema. But uh, I'd be really interested in to see how they retell it. Not I don't want it redone, reimagined, just like with today's technology and
Yeah.
today's it, it could look pretty amazing, and you guys have an audience for it. I mean,
Mhm.
that Wizard of Oz fandom is real,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah, it
know.
is.
So, but the only thing I have to say is I didn't know about that change with the disabled actor. So this is a
Mhm.
problem when you're trying to please everybody. It you don't make everyone happy. Plus, the work's going to suffer. I hope they don't make changes to where the work suffers, to where the story suffers, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think, pictures like picture, people like you, fans like you are gonna know the difference big time. But
Mhm.
all right, well, we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Well,
It's so funny because like, the actress isn't taking w she isn't taking fan reaction to her character very well.
she's not.
No, well, because she becomes the Wicked Witch of the East, like, she is a terrible person in the novel and in the show.
Oh,
She's a
really?
Yeah.
Okay,
She ends up
that's a cool character. That's fun.
Yeah, she ends up, becoming the Wicked Witch of the East. She makes, the Munchkins she becomes the governor of Munchkinland,
Hmm.
and she makes all of the Munchkins be, like, subservient to her, and it's so that she can keep, um, this boyfriend who doesn't wanna be with her. So in order for her to keep him, she kind of, like, makes him a servant, and she does not allow any Munchkins to leave. Like, they are stuck there in Munchkinland. They're not allowed to leave and go anywhere. Um, so she's actually a very horrible person, and the actress that plays her, wants people to look at her, and she's also, like, very, very spoiled. She's very bratty. She doesn't stick up for her sister. She doesn't,
Hmm.
she doesn't do anything like that. She just wants to do everything on her own. And the actress that plays her kind of looks at that character very differently than the people who are watching the movie. So there's people are voicing their opinions on that character, and she doesn't like it. She-
Does she know the evolution of her character? Like what's coming up? I mean, clearly she already filmed it.
yeah, she knows. Yeah, she knows the evolution of her character. But I guess I don't know how she looks at her character and thinks like, I love my character.